Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take. Got a job today. Stoked. It's almost the job that I wanted, but I didn't really want a job, so maybe not completely, but I needed a job. So the job that I kind of wanted and needed, I got it. So score. Now I don't need to stress. I was getting close to stressing, but I'm not stressing anymore. I always forget about, how much the field that I'm in is in demand. I feed people. I make food for people. I picked this trade when I was young, and I understood when I was in the Navy that this is a necessity. Because think about this. When I was in the Navy, we would go out to sea. And when we were out to sea for a good stretch for a couple weeks, money isn't good. What do you have to barter with, really? And if you could hook people up with extra food, or if you could slide them food so that they didn't have to stand in line, you were the richest person on the boat. And when you understand the power of food, you're like, wait a minute, this trade is actually extremely valuable. And as long as people are alive, the business of food is always going to be in demand. So thank you, God, for putting me on that path, really taking care of me. I mean, for real, 6 months not working and not stressing and not worrying, all just because I had faith in God, is pretty cool. It's, I don't know, I feel like it's a pretty good testimony. Whether you're a believer or not, maybe you're, the universe or whatever. But me, I believe in Jesus Christ and I believe in God. So that's who's showing me where to go. And that's who's putting me on to whatever journey I'm about to be on. I put it all in his hands anyway. So right now, just making videos to practice making videos and practice speaking and all those sort of things. But I wanted to touch on another thing too. Is anybody out there that is maybe looking for a job, or maybe you're working somewhere that you don't like to be working at. If you don't like your job, find a way to quit. Explore all of your options. Look at what you want to do and find people in those fields to speak with so that you can network your way into the job. And when you're getting a new job, understand this about yourself. And this is something that I really wish I knew when I was in a younger age, was the fact that when somebody hires you, they're renting your time. And you got to think about them as a tenant. They're a tenant renting out your time. And you are the landlord. And you got to treat it like that. You got to check your boss sometimes. You got to check your employer sometimes, because they don't own you. They're renting your time. And you're providing a service for that rental. And so you just got to meet them on their end. And if they're not meeting you on their end, maybe you need to start giving them an eviction notice. Too many times we put all the power on our employers, where we become, I don't want to say shoe lickers, but kinda. We've all been there, trying to move up with the job and all that sort of stuff. I always had this rule where, because I worked for mom and pop restaurants and things like that, and my rule was always, I will never work for a business where I can't be next to the owner. And I will never work next to an owner I don't respect. And I held that pretty true. This new gig is pretty corporate. It's a national company. It's a big corporate company. But for me, it's going to be a good job because it's a temporary thing, because I want to be able to break away from something. So there's not really that full-on commitment of being next to an owner or anything like that. But that was my standard. I had to respect the person I was working for. And when the respect starts to diminish, then I probably shouldn't be working there. And sometimes it takes a little while to let that sink in. And, I found myself being a little bit of a hypocrite at times. But you live and you learn, And it's not that people that I've worked for, I didn't lose all the respect. I just saw things in a different way. And I didn't see a future with any of those people that I left. And ultimately, it's about investing in me and investing in my future and what I need to do. And I shouldn't be putting too much effort into, I could put effort into other people's, projects. I'm down for that. But to put my whole life into it, I'm kind of done with that. If I'm going to put my whole life into something, it's going to be for me and mine, and it needs to help people, like 100%. If I'm just doing it completely for myself, then what's the point? I'm not going to be here forever. I need to do it for the greater good, I guess. Anyway, trying to stretch this out to the 8-minute mark, and I'm getting close. Got a minute and a half. If you want to stick around and hang out with me for a second, I want to talk about real quick before I bounce. Got the new video should be up today. It's about money, and I'm talking about the book, The Psychology of Money. And if you read that book, it's an essential. And it's one of those ones I wish I had when I was 20. I wish I read books when I was 20 instead of collecting tapes. Not to date myself, but collecting punk rock tapes. So anyway, 5 books to rock in 2025. Atomic Habits, of course. 48 Laws of Power if you don't want to get manipulated. The Courage to be Disliked if you want to start talking on camera like me. Made to Stick, that's kind of more of a, I guess, like a business book. Marcus Aurelius' Meditations, great one to get out of your head. And the Bible, of course, but I would recommend Proverbs. Read one proverb every day and see how you feel. And then start in Matthew if you're looking to read the Bible. Because there's a lot of truth in there. And there's so many memes that I see that I'm like, yo, that's a proverb. That's out of Proverbs. Anyway, see you tomorrow.